The world is resting. It has turned its face away from the sun, and in the deep, quiet hours, it breathes. A long, slow, and even breath that rises from the cooling soil and drifts through the highest, thinnest clouds. In this moment, the moment before the moment, the clamor of the day is a forgotten echo, a story told so long ago it has lost its words. The worries and the lists, the hurried footsteps and the loud conversations have all dissolved into the vast, velvety darkness. They have no power here, no purchase. Here, in the profound and peaceful hush that comes just before the dawn, the only currency is stillness. The only language is silence. Look up into the immense and endless dome of the sky. It is not black, but the deepest shade of indigo, a color so rich and deep you feel you could fall upward into it forever. The stars, which glittered with such sharp diamond brightness only an hour ago, have begun to soften. They are retreating, pulling their brilliant light back into themselves, like embers cooling in a hearth. Only the most steadfast remain, the ancient pilots of the night, holding their posts until the very last. Venus hangs low in the east, a solitary lantern of perfect, unwavering silver. The moon, a delicate sliver of pearl, has already completed its journey and is sinking below the far horizon, leaving behind a faint, ethereal wash of light, a gentle memory of its passage. This is the blue hour, the liminal space between the dream of night and the slow awakening of the day. The air itself seems to hold its breath. It is cool and clean, carrying the scent of damp earth, of night-blooming jasmine closing its petals, and the clean, mineral fragrance of stone that has held the chill of the darkness for many hours. If you listen, not with your ears, but with your entire being, you can feel the world's quiet rhythm, the slow, patient pulse of life at rest. The sleeping forests, the slumbering fields, the towns and cities tucked under a blanket of shared tranquility. Everything is peaceful. Everything is still. And it is into this stillness that the archivist comes. They do not arrive with a sound, not even the whisper of a footstep or the sigh of parted air. They are simply here, as if they have condensed from the moonlight and the shadows, a figure woven from the very essence of this quiet hour. They are timeless, a being neither old nor young, but enduring. Their form is gentle, indistinct at the edges, as if perpetually bathed in soft focus. They wear a long, flowing cloak the color of the pre-dawn sky, studded with faint, shimmering points of light like the last retreating stars. Beneath it, their movements are slow, deliberate, and imbued with a profound sense of purpose and peace. Their face, were you to see it clearly, is a mask of serene neutrality, calm and untroubled. Their eyes hold the deep, patient wisdom of millennia spent watching the world sleep. They are the guardian of the quiet moments, the keeper of forgotten things, and their work is about to begin. In one hand, they carry their tools. Not a bag or a satchel, but a series of delicate, crystalline phials that hang from a belt of woven moonbeams. The phials are empty now, clear as pure water, but they hum with a faint, expectant energy, waiting to be filled. Tonight, their journey begins in a place that has seen many cycles of sun and moon. A walled garden, hidden behind an old stone house, where a family is deep in slumber. The archivist does not need a gate. They drift over the cool, moss-covered stone of the wall like a wisp of mist, their cloak leaving no trace on the damp ivy that clings to the ancient stones. They settle onto a path of smooth gray flagstones, and the garden accepts their presence without a stir. All is quiet, all is well. This garden is a sanctuary of scent and texture. The air is thick with the sweet, heavy perfume of roses, their heads bowed as if in sleep. The cool, herbal sharpness of lavender bushes, their silvery leaves almost glowing in the faint light, the earthy, green scent of ferns, and the damp, rich aroma of the soil that nurtures them all. The archivist pauses, taking a moment to simply be in this space, to feel its unique peace settle around them like a second cloak. They are a part of the quiet, not an intrusion upon it. Their gaze falls upon the first subject of their collection, a magnificent rosebush, heavy with blooms of the deepest, most velvety crimson. The moonlight, faint as it is, catches the edges of the petals, making them seem as if they are trimmed in silver. The archivist moves closer, their feet making no sound on the soft earth. They extend a long, slender hand, their fingers as pale and graceful as birch bark. They do not touch the flower. They would never disturb its slumber. Instead, they pause, their attention focused entirely on a single perfect droplet of dew resting in the very heart of the rose. This is no ordinary water. This is the condensation of the night's exhalations, the moisture of the earth meeting the cool air. But it is more than that. The archivist knows that as the world sleeps, its dreams, especially those that are forgotten upon waking, must go somewhere. They do not simply vanish. They are released into the quiet air, and as the night deepens, they seek refuge, condensing with the cooling moisture, finding a home in these tiny crystalline spheres. Each droplet of dew is a vessel, a tiny, fragile library holding a single, forgotten dream. This droplet, cradled by the crimson petals, glows with a faint internal warmth. The archivist leans closer, their senses attuned to a different frequency. They can perceive the essence of the dream held within. It is a dream of warmth, of comfort, the feeling of a sun-drenched afternoon, a child's hand held securely in a larger one, the soft color of a favorite blanket. It is a dream of pure, untroubled love. A gentle, happy memory surfaced in sleep, now left behind as the dreamer journeys toward morning. With infinite care, the archivist unhooks one of the crystalline phials from their belt. They bring its open mouth close to the rose petal, just below the droplet. They do not shake the stem or touch the flower. Instead, they raise their other hand and make a soft, humming sound, a note so low and gentle it is felt more than heard. It is the sound of resonance, of gentle invitation. In response, the droplet shivers. It releases its hold on the velvety petal and falls with a slow, deliberate grace directly into the phial. It makes no sound as it lands, but for a fleeting moment, the phial glows with a soft, rosy light, and the air is filled with a faint, imagined feeling of warmth and contentment before it fades, the dream now safely stored. One dream collected. The archivist seals the phial with a touch, and a cap of solidified light forms over the opening. They refasten it to their belt and move on, gliding silently through the sleeping garden. Their journey takes them to a patch of shade beneath an old, gnarled apple tree. Here, a cluster of ferns grows in the damp soil. Their delicate fronds are uncurled like green feathers, each one dotted with 100 minuscule beads of dew, a constellation of tiny, glittering worlds. These droplets are different from the one on the rose. They are cool, clear, and hold a different kind of energy. The archivist kneels, their cloak pooling around them like a shadow. They choose a single frond, a perfect specimen adorned with a row of shimmering beads. They hold a new, empty phial ready. As they focus, they perceive the dreams within these droplets. They are not dreams of human emotion, but of something wilder, more primal. They are the forgotten dreams of the earth itself, or perhaps of the small creatures that shelter here. A dream of burrowing deep into cool soil, a dream of soaring on silent wings through a dense canopy of leaves, the feeling of rain on bark, the patient, slow dream of a root reaching for water. These dreams are green and ancient, and full of a quiet, wild peace. Again, the archivist hums their low, resonant note, but this time it is a different tone, a chord that speaks of earth and wood and leaf. One by one, the tiny droplets on the fern's edge tremble and release. They fall in a soft, silvery cascade into the waiting phial, a shower of liquid emerald light. The phial flashes with a deep forest green glow, and the scent of moss and wet leaves seems to intensify for a heartbeat. The archivist seals this phial as well, its contents now swirling with the quiet energy of the deep woods. They continue their silent, sacred work. They move to the edge of the garden, where a spider has woven its masterpiece between the branches of a lavender bush. The web is a miracle of engineering, a perfect spiral hung with jewels. The pre-dawn light catches each strand, making it appear as if it were spun from silver. And on this web, the dew has collected in a way that is different still. The droplets are strung together, connected by the silken threads, a delicate and intricate network of captured dreams. To collect these requires even greater care. To disturb one strand would be to spoil the pattern, to dishonor the patient work of the weaver. The archivist holds their phial beneath a particularly heavy intersection of the web. The dreams here are complex, tangled. A dream of searching for a path, of navigating a beautiful but confusing maze. A dream of connection, of threads reaching out to another, a feeling of being caught, but not in fear, in wonder. The dream is a puzzle, a question left unanswered by the sleeping mind. With a gesture that is impossibly precise, a subtle manipulation of the air itself, the archivist coaxes the cluster of droplets to merge into one larger sphere. The sphere trembles, holding its shape for a moment, reflecting the entire garden in its tiny curved surface. Then, with a gentle pull of energy from the archivist, it detaches from the web without breaking a single thread and falls cleanly into the file. The light that flashes from this one is a complex and shifting pattern of silver and gray, intricate and mysterious. The web, now dry, shimmers, unburdened, waiting for the first light of morning. Slowly, methodically, the archivist moves through the entire garden. They collect the dew from the broad, waxy leaves of a hosta, each droplet holding a dream of shelter and safety. They gather the dew that has pooled in the cup of a closed tulip, a dream full of vibrant, waiting color, a promise of the beauty to come when the sun arrives. They find dew on a cold, smooth river stone at the edge of a small, still pond, and the dream within it is one of flow, of time passing, of being shaped and smoothed by a constant, gentle pressure. Each plant, each surface, offers a different kind of dew, a different kind of dream, and the archivist gathers them all with the same reverent, silent grace. Soon, one side of their belt is heavy with files. Each one glows with its own soft internal light. Rose pink, forest green, silver gray, sky blue, sun yellow. Together, they create a gentle, shifting aurora around the archivist's waist, a quiet symphony of the world's forgotten dreams. The first phase of their work here is done. The garden has given up its nocturnal secrets, and the archivist has kept them safe. They pause in the center of the garden, by the small pond. The surface is like a dark mirror reflecting the deep indigo sky above. In the reflection, the archivist sees the files, their soft light swirling and pulsing gently. A library of slumber, a mosaic of peace. They turn their gaze toward the east. There is no visible change yet, not to a human eye, but the archivist can feel it, a subtle shift in the energy of the world. The deep, slow breath of the night is nearing its end. A new breath is preparing to be drawn. The first, faintest whisper of dawn is still many minutes away, but its intention is now present in the air. Their time in this garden is over. With another movement as silent and fluid as their arrival, they drift back over the stone wall, leaving the garden exactly as they found it. Only now, its leaves and petals are dry, ready to greet the morning sun. The archivist does not walk, but glides over the sleeping land, their star-dusted cloak trailing behind them. They pass over a slumbering cottage, its windows dark. From the dew on the thatched roof, they might gather a dream of hearth and home. They pass over a silent country lane. The dew in the wheel ruts, holding dreams of journeys taken and yet to come. But their destination is further on. They come to the edge of the enclosed, cultivated world and stand at the beginning of a vast, open meadow. The meadow slopes gently downhill, a wide expanse of wild grasses and sleeping flowers, all bathed in the soft, silvery light of the pre-dawn. The air here is different from the garden. It is wider, fresher, carrying the scent of clover and damp hay, and the cool, clean smell of a distant stream. The silence here is of a different quality, too. It is not the contained silence of the walled garden, but a great, expansive silence that stretches to the horizon. Across the meadow, the ground dips, and the gentle, murmuring sound of moving water can just be heard. And beyond that, rising like a great, dark wave against the slowly lightening sky, is the edge of an ancient forest. The archivist pauses here, at the threshold of the meadow. They look down at the full files on one side of their belt, their colors soft and beautiful. Then they look at the empty, waiting files on the other side. The meadow is a new page, a new chapter. The dew that blankets these wild grasses will hold dreams of a different nature, dreams of freedom, of running, of the wind in your hair, dreams of simplicity and quiet joy. They take a single, slow step forward into the tall, damp grass. The blades of grass part for them without a sound, their surfaces heavy with a thick coating of dew. It clings to everything, turning the entire meadow into a glittering field of countless tiny diamonds. It is an ocean of dreams, waiting. The archivist looks across this shimmering expanse, toward the dark, mysterious line of the ancient woods beyond. The forest waits, with its own deep and secret slumbers, its own ancient dreams held in the moss on its primordial trees. That will be the next chapter of their work. But first, this meadow, this wide, open, peaceful field of forgotten joys. They reach for a new file, its crystal clarity, a stark contrast to the glowing colors of the ones already filled. The sky above is still a deep, dark blue, but the faintest, most subtle hint of lavender is now touching the eastern edge of the world. The great, slow turning continues. The moment is perfect. The archivist stands alone in the immense, quiet beauty of the sleeping world, a silent guardian between night and day, ready to continue their gentle, timeless work. The first blade of grass awaits its turn. The first dream of the meadow is ready to be collected. The archivist's attention settles upon that single waiting blade of grass. It is a humble thing, one of millions, yet in this moment, it is the center of a universe. Upon its very tip, a single, heavy droplet of dew has formed, a perfect sphere capturing the last of the starlight and the first hint of the coming dawn. It trembles slightly in the still air, a liquid jewel of immense significance. This droplet holds a dream not of complex human emotion, but of pure and simple being. A dream of freedom. The feeling of the wind combing through a million brothers and sisters, the collective sigh of the meadow, The simple joy of feeling the sun on your face, of drinking the rain, of being rooted in the good, dark earth. It is a dream of profound and uncomplicated contentment. Reaching for a new, empty file, the archivist brings it close. The crystal is cool and clear, a blank page waiting for a story. There is no need for haste. The world turns at its own perfect pace, and the archivist moves in harmony with it. The low, resonant hum begins again, a different note from the ones used in the garden. This note is higher, clearer, with the timbre of wind whistling through grass. It is the sound of openness, of horizons. The droplet on the blade of grass shivers in response, its surface vibrating with the note. It holds for a moment longer, a tiny, perfect mirror of the vast dark sky, and then it lets go. It doesn't fall so much as glide through the cool air, drawn by the gentle invitation of the archivist's hum, and settles without a splash into the bottom of the file. A light ignites within the crystalla, pale, fresh green, the color of new leaves in spring. The light pulses once, a soft, steady beat, and then settles into a gentle, constant glow. The scent of cut grass and clean air fills the space around the archivist for a fleeting second, a memory of the dream now safely kept. They seal the file and attach it to their belt, its soft green light joining the gentle aurora of the other captured dreams. One by one, they move through the vast open meadow. Their progress is not linear, not a straight line from one point to another. Instead, they drift, following the subtle currents of dream energy that only they can perceive. They are drawn to a thick patch of white clover, its tripartite leaves bowed low and heavy with moisture. Here, the dew is scattered in a fine mist, thousands of microscopic droplets that cling to the soft leaves. The archivist kneels, their dark cloak blending with the deep shadows of the earth. They hold a file ready, and as they focus, they sense the dreams held here. These are dreams of small sweetnesses, of hidden luck. A honeybee's forgotten dream of a field overflowing with nectar. The faint, joyful echo of a child's sleepy wish to find a four-leaf clover. A feeling of community, of being nestled together, of simple, shared purpose. The archivist's hum is a soft, sweet chord, and a cloud of the tiniest droplets lifts from the clover leaves, a shimmering vapor that coalesces and flows like smoke into the waiting file. It flashes with a creamy, white light, speckled with tiny points of green like sugar and mint. The dream of simple luck is now safe. Further on, they find a cluster of daisies, their white petals closed for the night, forming a circle of tiny, sleeping fists. The dew has collected in the very center of each closed flower, a single, protected pool. The archivist pauses, their serene face lit by the glowing files at their belt. The dreams within these droplets are dreams of adoration, of turning a face toward a great, warm light, of innocent trust. The faint lingering feeling of a game of chance, of petals being plucked one by one. But the dream has forgotten the anxiety of the question, remembering only the final, certain feeling of being loved. With a gesture of infinite gentleness, the archivist gathers these dreams. The file they fill glows with a warm, sunny yellow, the pure, cheerful color of a daisy's heart. And so their work continues across the wide, glittering expanse. They collect the dew from the feathery tops of wild fennel, dreams that taste of anise and distant shores. They gather the moisture from a patch of tough, resilient thistle, and the dreams within are of proud defiance, of standing tall and protected against the odds. Each plant, each surface, offers its own unique distillation of the night's forgotten visions, and the archivist gathers them all with the same quiet reverence. The empty files on one side of their belt slowly fill, each one adding a new color, a new note to the silent symphony of light they carry. As they move, the world around them remains in a state of deep tranquility. A barn owl, its own work for the night now done, glides on silent wings high overhead, a fleeting shadow against the indigo sky. A field mouse, deep in its burrow, stirs in its sleep, its own dreams perhaps rising on its breath to be captured by the cooling air. The archivist is a part of this living, breathing tableau. They are the silent witness, the gentle librarian, ensuring that nothing of value is ever truly lost. Their path eventually leads them to the bottom of the meadow, where the ground becomes soft and the air grows cooler. The gentle, constant murmur of moving water, which had been a faint whisper on the edge of hearing, now grows into a clear, soothing song. A stream, born in the hills far beyond, winds its way along the edge of the meadow, a ribbon of black silk edged with the silver of starlight. It marks the boundary between the open field and the great dark forest that rises like a wall on the other side. The archivist pauses at the stream's edge. The water chuckles and whispers as it tumbles over smooth, dark stones. The air smells of watercress and damp earth, and the clean, cold scent of the rocks themselves. The dew here is different again. It clings to the smooth, rounded surfaces of the river stones. It beads on the waxy leaves of plants that grow half in and half out of the water, and it hangs from the delicate, arching fronds of ferns that crowd the banks. These are the dreams of the water, and of the things that live by the water. The archivist selects an empty file and kneels on the damp, mossy bank. Their first focus is a large, gray stone, worn perfectly smooth by centuries of the stream's patient caress. A fine sheen of moisture coats its surface, and in the center, a single large droplet has pooled in a slight depression. The dream within is one of immense patience. It is a dream of stillness in the midst of constant motion, a dream of letting go, of allowing the ceaseless flow of time and water to shape you, to smooth your rough edges, not with violence, but with persistence. It is a dream of deep, quiet knowing. The archivist's hum is a low, resonant bass note, the sound of the deep earth. The droplet slides from the stone into the phial, which fills with a clear, silvery gray light, the color of water flowing over stone. Next, their attention is drawn to a single shed feather, perhaps from a kingfisher, caught on a sprig of water mint at the stream's edge. It is a flash of impossible blue, even in the faint light. Tiny, perfect beads of dew are strung along its delicate barbs. The dream held here is one of flight, but a specific kind of flight. A dream of diving, of speed and precision, of piercing the boundary between air and water in a flash of brilliant color. A dream of a world seen from above and a world seen from below, and the thrilling, momentary transition between the two. With a sound like a high, clear bell, the archivist coaxes the droplets from the feather. They fall like a string of tiny blue pearls into the waiting phial, which flashes with an electric, sapphire light before settling into a deep, vibrant blue. The archivist continues along the bank. From the leaves of a willow tree that trail in the current, they gather dreams of graceful surrender, of bending without breaking. From the moss that grows thick and green on the northern side of a fallen log, they collect dreams of deep absorption, of quiet, spongy comfort. The phials filled by the stream have a liquid clarity to their light silver, blue, and deep wet green. They seem to swirl and flow within their crystalline prisons, a constant, gentle motion. Now, all the phials on the archivist's belt are full, glowing with their soft internal light. The collection is complete. But their work is not yet finished. They turn their gaze across the murmuring stream to the forest. It is an ancient wood, a place of immense trees whose canopies are so thick they create a second night beneath them. The silence that emanates from it is different from the open silence of the meadow. It is a deep, weighted silence, full of the accumulated stillness of centuries. The archivist must enter. They do not need a bridge. They step out over the flowing water, and for a moment, their form seems to walk upon its dark, reflective surface, their cloak of starlight, and the glowing phials creating a perfect mirror image. They reach the other side and step onto the forest floor. The transition is immediate and profound. The air becomes still and cool, thick with the rich, loamy scent of decaying leaves, damp soil, and the sharp, resinous perfume of ancient pines. The faint light of the pre-dawn sky is filtered through the dense canopy, creating a world of deep shadows and soft, cathedral-like gloom. Sounds are muffled here. The song of the stream is muted, and the archivist's own silent movements seem to be absorbed by the thick carpet of moss and fallen needles underfoot. This is a place of deep slumber. The archivist stands for a long moment, allowing the spirit of the place to settle around them. They are in the presence of elders, the ancient oaks, the towering pines, the gnarled beeches that have stood guard here since before the walled garden was a seed, since before the stones of the farmhouse were quarried. Their work here is not one of collection, but of return. This is the final and most sacred part of their task. The dreams they have gathered, The forgotten joys and sorrows and wonders of the sleeping world are not meant to be hoarded in some celestial library. They are a nutrient. They are the food for the world's soul, and it is here, in the heart of this ancient place, that they must be returned to the earth from which they came. The archivist begins to move deeper into the woods, following an instinct, a path that is not visible to the eye but is felt as a line of ancient energy. They pass trees whose bark is a universe of moss and lichen. They step over fallen logs that are nursemaids to whole communities of fungi. They move through shafts of the faintest light that pierce the canopy like blessings. Finally, they arrive at their destination. It is a small, perfectly circular clearing, so sheltered by the surrounding trees that it feels like a hidden room. In the very center of the clearing lies a single, immense stone, flat and smooth, and covered in a velvety carpet of the deepest green moss. It feels like an altar, placed here by time itself. The sky directly above the clearing is now a soft, pale lavender, the first true announcement of the coming sun. The moment has arrived. With slow, deliberate movements, the archivist begins to unfasten the files from their belt. One by one, they place them on the moss-covered stone. They arrange them not by the place they were found, but by the color of their light, creating a perfect spectrum, a rainbow of captured dreams. The rosy pink of contented love from the garden rose, the fresh, new leaf green of freedom from the meadow grass, the sunny yellow of adoration from the daisy, the complex silver gray of the spider's web, the watery, clear gray of the river stone, the electric blue of the kingfisher's flight, the deep, resinous amber of ancient tree dreams they seem to have absorbed just by being here. The entire stone glows with a gentle, harmonious light, a mosaic of the night's most secret and ephemeral beauty. The archivist stands back, a silent, shadowy figure against the backdrop of the ancient trees. They raise their pale hands, and they begin to hum one final time. It is not a single note or a simple chord. It is a complex and layered harmony, a sound that contains all the other notes they have hummed this night. It is the sound of resonance, of completion, of release. It is the sound of giving back. As the harmony builds, the caps of solidified light on each file dissolve into motes of dust. And then, as the very first pure, golden ray of sunlight lances down through the canopy and strikes the stone, the dreams are released. It is not an explosion, but a gentle, glorious unfolding. The light from each file lifts out, not as a separate color, but merging together into a single, flowing river of soft, opalescent light. This river of pure dream essence, carrying feelings of love, peace, freedom, wonder, and wisdom, flows across the mossy surface of the stone. It does not dissipate into the air. Instead, it pours over the edge of the stone like a silent waterfall and sinks into the rich, dark earth. It flows into the moss, into the soil, feeding the roots of the ancient trees. It is a libation for the world, replenishing its capacity for hope, renewing its spirit, ensuring that the wellspring of dreams will never run dry. The light sinks deeper and deeper, until the last of its glow is absorbed by the forest floor. The archivist watches until the last file is empty, its crystal now clear and quiet as it was at the start of the night. Their work is done. The world is stirring. The first tentative song of a waking bird echoes through the wood. The sun is climbing, and the deep shadows are beginning to retreat. The archivist's form, which was woven from moonlight and shadow, begins to lose its definition in the growing light of day. Their edges soften, becoming translucent. The star-dusted cloak of the pre-dawn sky melts away, dissolving into the morning air. Their serene face turns for a moment toward the rising sun, an expression of deep, peaceful satisfaction, and then they too fade, becoming one with the light. They leave behind no footprint, no sound, only a profound sense of peace in the clearing, and the quiet promise of their return when the world next turns its face from the sun. And as the archivist fades, you remain, resting in your own quiet space. The story of the night is complete. The world has been cared for. Its forgotten dreams return to the earth to nurture new ones. All is well. There is nothing left for you to do, nothing to think about, nothing to hold on to. You can let go now, just as the dew let go of the leaf. You can release your own thoughts, your own worries, and let them be gathered by the quiet air. Feel the deep, peaceful stillness of the ancient forest, the open freedom of the meadow, the gentle flow of the stream. This peace is for you. It is the gift of the night. Allow it to cradle you, to hold you. Allow the gentle rhythm of your own breath to be your only guide, leading you down, down, into a deep and restorative sleep. The world is waking, but your night is just beginning. Rest now. Sleep now. All is well.